Hi, I'm Vaughn Watson, Assistant Professor of English Education in the Department of Teacher Education at Michigan State University.
And I'm Alecia Beymer, a second-year doctoral student in the Department of Teacher Education at Michigan State University. Today we are going to talk about Praisesongs of place, spatializing songwriting, and evoking stances toward justice in a literacy and songwriting program.
So I want to take us to this wooden open-air building, Shed 2 on Eastern Market South End, bustling with shoppers on a summer Sunday. Built in 1898 to accommodate a growing need in Detroit for market space, its stalls sized for horses and carts, Shed 2 has, since 2007, undergone a $2 million renovation financed by the city and private donations. Long a spot for muralists, Shed 2 now boasts a new metal roof, lighting, wiring, concrete. Vendors such as Joe Hicks sell $15 t-shirts proclaiming Betroit, believe blending into Detroit. The first letter B stylized in Old English font, recalling the D of a Detroit Tigers baseball cap. Thus, words printed on Joe Hicks t-shirts define Detroit as Detroiters bonding together, empowering brotherhood in the city, and bringing business back to Detroit. At a time when Detroit, since 2000, experienced a 70% drop in public school enrollment, families moving away or turning to suburban public and charter schools, T-shirts proclaiming Detroit stir to mind the affirming civic message of a bumper sticker slogan created in the 1970s by Emily Gale, "Say nice things about Detroit." The slogan is so contemporarily well known, a senior in my secondary English methods class preparing to become a public school teacher in Midtown pasted the bumper sticker to her laptop, imploring her peers to invoke its message by refraining from deficit-oriented, popularized narratives of Detroit. We point to youth and young adults adorning bodies with t-shirts and laptops with bumper stickers as literacy practices, enacted and extending emboldened identities as members of communities. This stance-taking historicizes ways in which Black youth and young adults have long enacted literacy practices. Doctors Alfred Tatum and Gholdy Muhammad, for example, reframing contemporary interventionist approaches to literacy involving Black youth, identify how African American males in the 1800s and literary societies in the U.S. North, quote, wrote, spoke publicly, and educated themselves through literature. These literary societies were used as platforms to secure civil, economic, educational, political, and social rights. We furthermore think about how, as literacy researcher and English educator S.J. Miller writes, contexts are specific spaces, places accentuated by time within particular geographies. Moreover, contexts are continually impacted by an inheritance of geohistories of prior socio-political, educational, cultural, and economic policies and laws as individuals act on and seek to transform them, whether through policy, environmental changes, buildings, or the movement of new people or culture. We're therefore compelled to consider youth of color enacting literary presence as what we think of as praise songs of place.
By praisesongs, we draw on the West African performance genre that historicizes social, cultural, and linguistic contexts of spaces, places, and time. In this example of youth brainstorming the first verse of a song that at the end of 15 weeks will become their contribution to a 7-song CD, and the Verses Project supported by the Marshall Mathers Foundation and Carhartt. On a Monday night in April at the Community Music School in Detroit, Nate at a piano, an iPad resting in the music rack where sheet music would typically go, James nearby taps his iPad. To repeat the instrumental loop he used GarageBand to create 4 classes ago. James listens for a moment, then begins playing the iPad's electronic keyboard, interpolating Nate's loop. Joy nearby takes notes. As Mia leads Noah and Chloel in brainstorming and freestyling song lyrics, Chloel suggests writing a song about candidates in the U.S. presidential election, 8 months away. Nate and Noah want to write about sick-outs that teachers across Detroit public schools enacted 3 months prior. Work stoppages, protesting, school conditions including overcrowded classrooms, mold, collapsing ceilings, Youth enact notions of the praise songs through their emboldened and attentive commentaries of Detroit.
As they continue tussling with topics, and as youth's brainstorming session draws to a close, Clowell tells the group, "I don't want to say bad things about Detroit."
It is here that youth take up notions of the praise song in response to adversity. Youth learn that in order to effectively honor something held dear, the artist needs to also see their roots and hometown in an encompassing view, and within that view to critically engage with their city. In journal entries, youth of color reconceptualize the city of Detroit through critique and hope. By critically engaging Detroit, youth are asserting expectations for the city. As praise songs, critique serves as a call to action. As Arnson observed, a way to gather strength in followers. 4 weeks later, Clowell and 24 peers have recorded their 7-song CD. They prepare songs for the closing night open mic listening party concert. Clowell with Nate, James, Joy, Mia, and Noah on a couch in the style of a TV talk show. Before an audience of family and friends, the youth, by participating in the construction, envisioning, and enactment of the praise song, call upon their city, but also upon youth and community in their city to reimagine and enact notions of moving forward as expectation.
In summer 2017, youth in the literacy and songwriting program chose a group name affirming their literary presence, the Detroits, and youth wrote, performed, and produced a song they titled 313. Here it is.
Detroit, success for us has always been a long shot, but when we accomplish something, the doubters be left in distraught. Two great power have a cast of kin, two bad old lions have never had a ring, bail out a beautiful island, you can come visit or just keep riding, going to Coney Island where chili cheese fries be frying. Detroit, this is my city, say it with me, 313, I got my whole crew rocking with me, come on y'all, 313, Detroit, this is my city.
Youth in words and music evoke particular characteristics of praise songs, situating the lyrics in the promise of their city.
Youth extend the notion of a praise song as emboldening the ideal in order to rebuild. Not dissimilar to identities enacted across t-shirts and bumper stickers, the Detroit's evoking place-based literary presence position themselves as youth contributors and participants within their schools, across our communities. Youth furthermore insist on acknowledgement of the critique and praise towards their city. One tenet of the praise song is the acquiring of the endeavor. By accepting the praise, a person takes on a mantle of attributions and expectations. Even as some scholars situate youth of color as suffering a civic achievement gap, the Detroits rather enact civic action as song lyrics, as simultaneous critiquing and building possibilities toward future narratives, where Noah, concluding a song titled Struggle, sings,
Detroit is love, Detroit is life, we fly higher than a dove. Nigerian poet Tenora Ojade calls upon us to, quote, imbued with experience of the past, lead to the future by offering a vision of possibilities. Clowell imploring to her peers, I don't want to say bad things about Detroit, underscores possibilities of youth enacting what we think of as civic imaginaries, across which discourses, as Norman Fairclough writes, quote, not only represent the world as it is, or rather as seen to be, they are also projective, imaginaries representing possible worlds which are different from the actual world.
The youth also call upon themselves to not only provide a vision, but carry out a quest to generate, define, and redefine imaginaries. Continuing the conversation, we may ask, how, in envisioning and enacting notions of the praise song, collaborators in the educational lives of youth position youth as participants and contributors across schools, communities, across experiences, past, present, and to come. Building upon such overarching conference questions as, can music enhance STEM education? We ask,
how may attending to music produced by youth enhance teaching and learning across socio-political, educational, and cultural contexts?
How may the interplay of teaching, learning, and the interdisciplinary STEAM approaches transform spaces, places, time, and geographies towards more justice and assets-based renderings of youth, communities, and educational spaces within which they live and learn? Thank
Thank
you.
you.